think one of the big value addition of being in an MBA class is to check how diverse is the class. We had this law student who was with us, and a law student finds it difficult when we teach Python and we teach data visualization and we teach finance and all that. He was not getting shortlisted in some of the companies, the traditional ones for consulting, and he was getting very worried.
So, for example, sir, what is the most common switches, if you will say?
Yeah, the big switch that I have noticed here over the past few years is from non-consulting to consulting.
But a person who is already doing a job of 6 LPA, now he has to leave his job, he has to, pay a good amount for his masters, and now he is coming only with a hope. Again, it's a very big question to himself. Should I do it or not? So what kind of jumps a person can expect? Hello everyone, welcome back to Shiksha Nerd. So if you are looking for 1-year MBA style program, today's episode will just save you from a lot of confusions. Today we are here at Great Lakes Chennai with Dr. Raj, PGPM director, and we will be clearing some of your doubts, and I will try all of your doubts. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Shiksha Nerd, for visiting Great Lakes Chennai. And I'm very happy to answer your questions so that the future prospective students will have a lot of clarification.
Yeah. So without any delay, let's start the video. So sir, my first question is, I will be taking the very basic one, which is, what exactly is PGPM? Because students, they keep searching PGPM versus PGDM versus MBA. This is a very big confusion, and how it is different from 2-year MBA or PGDM?
A good question, actually. PGPM is our flagship 1-year program. It's a 1-year full-time program. It's approved by AICTE. So typically, we have 2 types of programs in India. One is a certificate program, which is the PGPM, which is a one-year full-time. And then there is a diploma program, which is called the PGDM, which is a 2-year full-time program. The principal difference between these 2 programs is that the PGPM is aimed at people with work experience, and PGDM is aimed at people who have lesser or no work experience. That's the principal difference.
So it is best suited for, I would say, the people with experience.
Yes, absolutely. So in fact, one of the entry criteria to our PGPM program is a minimum of 24 months of work experience.
So the final cusp, if I talk about, is it is not a shortcut. It is basically for the students who have experience.
Yeah, I mean, it is very important to highlight here that the PGPM program is actually more intense than the PGDM program, because in a year's time, we try to get our students ready for accelerated careers. The reason why we do this is because you come into the program with experience. We want to accelerate that experience and send you back into the industry. So we prepare you for acceleration. So which means this is actually a more intensive program than actually the PGDM program.
So sir, my next question again is the viral one, the viral query. PGPM is a certificate. So how will you explain this very clearly to the students?
Yeah, I think AICTE's nomenclature says that the 1-year program is called a postgraduate certificate in management. But this is not just another certificate. I think Great Lakes Institute of Management was the second institute in the country to introduce the 1-year program. And Dr. Balavi Balachandran, who started this with the idea that people should be able to get back to the industry for work very quickly. And therefore, by design, this program has been constructed for people who have worked for a little while in the industry and then want to kind of prepare themselves quickly for faster or paced careers. And in today's world, time is money. And therefore, the lesser time and quicker you can get to this is actually better. So therefore, this is a serious, intensive certificate program. And in fact, let me also use this opportunity, Neha, to tell you that last year we completed 20 years of Great Lakes, and this is the first and flagship program of the school, and therefore the program also completed 20 years. And we have now over 14,000 alumni across the whole world, I think in 33 countries. And therefore this is a very serious program. The industry acknowledges it, and we have done a huge upgrade of this program last year in the 20th year by working with industry, doing roundtables and so on. And therefore, it's popularly now referred to as PGPM 2.0, which is a revised one. Yeah.
So, sir, the question again is this classification, because PGDM is for 2 years, PGPM is for 1 year. By any chance, it has any effect out in the outcomes or the placements of the students?
Not at all, because the way industry looks at this is very different. So usually in the PGDM program, it's a large part of the class is freshers, and therefore management trainees or entry level positions are very common, and that is where they want to start their careers too. In the PGPM program, in contrast, a lot of them have already worked for 3-4 years in the industry. Therefore, when they join back, they are groomed for slightly senior positions.
Right.
So therefore, industry actually is very, very receptive or receiving of our PGPM program, and our alumni are the proof that it works.
Yes. So, sir, my next question is these specializations. So, yes, PGDM has some specialization, MBA has their own specialization, and moreover, they are same.
Yeah.
But what about PGPM? Are we having the same specialization? Because the students coming from different backgrounds, different specializations. So, what we have it here in Great Lakes Chennai?
Yeah. So, as part of this whole revamp that we did last year, we spoke to a series of industry professionals. We conducted roundtables with CXOs and so on, and we completely rechanged this PGPM into PGPM 2.0. I think one of the big things we learned is that unlike PGDM or the regular MBA, where we have functional specializations, these are people with experience, and therefore we need to bring you something that can quickly get you back to the industry. And therefore, what we have done is we have separated into two buckets of specializations. One is the industry bucket. The industry bucket is where you have specializations like product management or consulting or data science. And on the functional side, we have the traditional ones like marketing, finance, operations, and so on. All our PGPM students today do dual majors, which means they have to choose one from the industry bucket, they have to choose one from the functional bucket. Now, what happens is it spreads their capability to get back to industry, and therefore it's one of the significant differences of value that we bring through the 1-year program, which is not available currently in most PGDM programs in the country.
Right. So basically, it is a dual specialization program.
Yes. All PGPM students today do dual specializations, and the reason for that is most of them want to prepare for different sorts of careers. So we want them to be prepared for a breadth of careers today. Simple example is to impact of AI on product management. There are a lot of product managers, but then the moment AI comes into the picture, how can a product manager be prepared to deal with this whole AI revolution? So today we have a course in the product management specialization, which is AI for product managers. So they actually use AI and do particular tasks, and therefore they are very prepared to contemporary stuff, which
so
is
basically
very
they are ready for the market.
Absolutely.
So, sir, my next question is, what is the real eligibility expectations from Great Lakes for PGPM program basically? And we are talking a lot about WorkX and everything, but is it the quality of the work, or it is the number of years in terms of WorkX?
So that's a good question, Neha. I think the first thing is you need 24 months of work experience full time to become eligible to the program. So there is no question of discussion.
Right.
But I think what becomes important, and this is what students need to do during the personal interview, which is a very important part of the admission process, is that you have to highlight the quality of work you have done in those 2 years. You could be in a ticket processing job or a call center job. It doesn't matter what job you do. But if you can highlight how you have utilized and learned from that experience, if you can present that experience to say why with this experience and the PGPM, you can actually catapult yourself to the next level, then this program is the right place, and we would love to have you here, because these are the kind of students we want. We want ambitious students.
Right.
So how they want to leverage the past experience. So where should they present this quality, and how do we assess it? For PGPM, we particularly have a face-to-face personal interview for all shortlisted candidates. So which means you have a chance to explain your experience to the interviewee, which is typically a faculty or an industry person.
So clarity of purpose is important.
Absolutely. Because it's also reflective of the clarity of thinking of the student. So it is not just where you work, but how you worked and what you did, which matters.
So basically, it is not that you have experience and you can get into Great Lakes Chennai.
Yes.
You should explain what exactly you have done, and it should be, the quality.
Yes, the quality matters. Absolutely. We want good students in the batch.
So, sir, like if I talk about the entrance exams, so PGDM and MBA, they have their own entrance exams. So, how are we taking students here in PGPM?
Yeah, for the PGPM, we also take students based on entrance scores. We need an entrance score. The entrance score can be CAT, it can be GMAT, it can be ZAT, and it also can be NMAT. We accept NMAT scores for PGPM course.
So, sir, is a strong score enough for to getting into Great Lakes Chennai, or the interview rounds again plays a very important role?
So the PGPM program is for people with experience, right? So we do profile-based shortlisting. So which means we want to know all aspects of a person's profile, a student's profile, before admitting them to the program. So just a plain high score is not enough because it only shows one aspect of your personality.
Right.
But we want to use this to see how you have written your essay, how you submitted your application, how you perform in the interview, what's your profile, how do you present yourself. So all aspects are considered because we want rounded people, because this is a general management program. So we are preparing people for being future managers. So it's not like, too technical. So just one score is not enough. I think we need everything. But good scores always are more beneficial because it's competitive. So the better score you have, plus all the other things, it gives you a better chance.
Right. So, sir, there is a myth again. PGPM is only for engineers. I want to know how diverse it is academically and professionally.
Yeah. Over 20 years, what has actually happened is that our alumni are now so spread across sectors. Like we have senior directors at Visa, and then we have senior marketing directors at H&M, and then we have somebody being a partner at ENY, and so it's like spread out. Diversity is something we've been consciously working on as a school, and therefore now if you see the current last 2-3 batches, you'll notice that about 35 to 40% of the batch is engineers. Everyone else is actually non-engineer or non-IT. Even if they are engineers, they've worked in non-IT. For example, they worked in sales, they worked in branding, some are from media. We had a student from law, we had a student who has been from psychology. So we have students from all backgrounds in the class, and I think earlier on the batches were largely engineers when we started the school 20 years ago. But in the 2000s, I think in India, if you put your hand out and pull any 100 people, I think 80 were anyway engineers and IT. So I think we were not an exception. Most schools had that problem. But today as a school, we have consciously become very diverse. About 25 to 30% of our class usually is women. We have people from all the states of the country. So we are diverse in every possible way. And we are still dominated, about 30-40% are engineers, but then the non-IT, if I can call it, the crowd is actually now dominating the class.
Okay, that's great. So, sir, I want to if we compare it from past years, so how diversity has, the change in the peer learning, or can you share it with some example?
Yeah. I think it's a great question, Neha, because I think one of the big value addition of being in an MBA class is to check how diverse is the class. Because MBA learning revolves around classroom discussions.
Exactly.
And when you don't have diverse thought processes in classroom discussions, you can't have, you can't expand your thinking.
Exactly.
So therefore, we have seen in the past several examples of this. I'll give you a classic case in point. We had this law student who was with us. And a law student finds it difficult when we teach Python and we teach, data visualization and we teach finance and all that. And then he struggled, he learned, he enjoyed. And then he was not getting shortlisted in some of the companies, the traditional ones for consulting. And he was getting very worried. I was always, telling him, don't worry, you're a unique combination. And then suddenly out of the blue, we have this company which wants to go IPO in the next 3 years. And they come and tell me, our placement team, hey, do you have somebody who's good at finance and who's good at law?
Wow.
And we were like, oh, here's a guy you want to look at, and this guy gets hired for a specific role. He's now in the next 3 years, he has to actually develop everything to take this company IPO. So every single student here has a story. And I think personally as PGPM director, the most important thing for me is the individual story. Every single student, the transformation, the experiences and how they blossom is what makes this whole thing rich.
True.
Yeah. So the last point also I wish to add is, on campus, it's a 24-hour campus. I mean, students live here full time. Late in the nights, you will see students volunteering to do classes. So somebody who's good at, say, technical skills is actually running a small workshop, and all others are attending. Some people who are, good at presentation, industry, come and give you examples. So that learning is phenomenal.
Exactly. So, sir, my next question is, if a student has a law background or has worked with the coach, how are we judging them? Because they do not have any corporate experience.
Yeah, that's a very good question. In fact, we have several people from different backgrounds, and law is very unique.
Right.
We've had law students in the past, and I think I think I go back to my earlier or my belief is that law students must talk about the value that they have gained by working on cases. How interesting are those cases? What was their contribution? Because critical thinking is an important aspect today that is sought after by all corporations. If lawyers who are actually doing critical thinking almost all the time can demonstrate that ability during the personal interview, I think it's a great skill to use.
Right.
And corporate legal departments today, a lot of corporates have, intellectual property, all sorts of regulatory requirements, and therefore law is an interesting background which can be leveraged through management school to land up in very, very interesting jobs. So we would be very happy to have law students, and especially people with rich law experience who can demonstrate this experience during the personal interview, and through that they will be able to convince our faculty to join.
So I feel, because a lot of law students, they keep asking, ma'am, will I be fit in? So I feel with this episode they will be able to understand, yes, you can.
Yeah, and they also bring a very different flavor to the batch, because most other students have no exposure to law.
Right.
And law is so important in business.
Exactly.
So therefore, the class discussions also become very rich
interesting
when
and rich, yes.
when they come in.
So next question is, because we are sitting in Chennai, so basic question that student asks, ma'am, will there be student only from the South region? How diverse it is geographically?
See, today Great Lakes is not a new school or unknown name. We are, as I said, we are in our 21st year. Having celebrated 20 years last year, we went around on a road show. We realized that the early batches have such an affinity to the school and the program,
Right.
that in every city we had, hundreds of our alumni come and meet us across Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Hyderabad, and so on. Our classes are extremely diverse. We have students from almost every state in India represented. In fact, it will be very interesting for you if you walk around the campus that more Hindi is spoken here than Tamil, and so you will realize. So it's just that we are in Chennai, and I think a lot of people from the north, east, and west of India love coming to Great Lakes because it gives them a chance to explore the region,
yes.
get to know, and we are truly a national school. Today we are a kind of a globally contributing school because
Right.
We have people everywhere. So we are an extremely diverse class with students from all states. So
the peer learning will be to the next level because of the diversity.
Yes, we have people from small towns, people with rural backgrounds, and they bring
cities.
very rich experiences to class.
Right,
the way the value systems are so different. So there's a huge intermingling of cross-cultural is simply too good. And in fact, a good place to see this is, if you have time, stay back in the evening and see the celebrations today, and you will see things from kite flying to everything happening. And it is just amazing how each region brings its contribution into the celebration. Yeah.
So, sir, obviously, when a student is planning PGPM from Great Lakes Chennai, he is confident. He or she is confident that they'll be placed. But they want to know the role clarity also. Like, where exactly will they be placed? Or is there, like, in 1 year, is it possible to switch their profiles? For example, if somebody has come from IT background and he wants to do something in finance, will it be possible in 1 year?
Yeah. It's a challenging question. I think our students have it and so do you. So thanks for voicing it. I think, so what we have seen over the years is that there has been consistently people making this switch. Right. So every year we see students consciously make the switch, especially from IT to non-IT. Very common switch. There are people who come with IT background and then want to accelerate themselves in IT, which means I want to grow faster in IT. Right, that's normal. It happens a lot. Normal, yeah. Second is we have people who come from IT and want to move into non-IT backgrounds, which is also happening a lot. But what is more interesting is people who come from completely non-IT or non-engineering backgrounds. How do they move into more technical domains? One of the things that Great Lakes is really known for is analytics and AI. Today, if there is a school that is your top or for industry, the first go-to school when it comes to analytics is simply Great Lakes, Chennai. There is no two ways about it. So when they come to Great Lakes, every job, whether it's marketing, operations, finance, banking, they all ask, about analytics. So what we have done in PGPM program is all students, it doesn't matter who they are, everybody goes through basic data, making sense of data courses. They are taught data visualization courses. They are taught, storytelling courses. So what happens is, irrespective of the specialization you choose, our students are very savvy with, analytics. And this is a huge power. So whether they are engineers, non-engineers, literature students, you will see all of them use analytics and tell stories and insights. And this is something that's super attractive for industry. So that is a huge special competitive advantage that our Great Lakes students have vis-a-vis many other schools.
So for example, sir, what is the most common switches, if you will say?
Yeah, the big switch that I have noticed here over the past few years is from non-consulting to consulting. So if you want a consulting career, and especially in today's world, right from McKinsey to Boston to Bain, everybody wants to do tech consulting because that's where the industry is going.
Right.
And our students are most ideally placed for that because we are a strong tech analytics AI school. And when that is combined with management and problem solving ability, the consulting companies, most of the major consulting companies visit campus every year and they pick students because these are just ideally placed. And they love, and consulting loves being background agnostic. So that means they want people from all types of backgrounds. So that's another reason why diversity plays a very strong role.
Right. So, sir, with the legacy of 20 years, obviously, most of our students must be placed in all over the world, right? And does it actually helping the students who are already studying or the aspirants who are looking for PGPM program here?
Yeah, I mean, we pride in our alumni network. I mean, we bask in their glory because these are people who do really well. They're doing really well for themselves. So our founder, Dr. Bala, used to say, your network is your net worth. And I think every one of us here practices it to the T. So we, right from the orientation program, we invite in our PGPM people who have graduated from the past batches. So they are part of the orientation program. So in fact, many things in the orientation program are conducted by alumni. They are not conducted by us. So it's a great way for them to understand each other. Second is, we have a structured mentoring program now in PGPM. So every student has an attached faculty mentor through the year. So if they have any challenges, they can quickly walk up to them. In that, we also ensure that they get enough access to their alumni. Say, for example, they have questions about career. So we conduct constant workshops with our alumni. So they come to campus and talk. Third is, it's a very interesting fact, our alumni are now spread out across 34 countries across the world. So in fact, we just realized that when we wanted to do international network meets, alumni meetups, one of the big meetups was in London, and then a second request came from Stockholm. And we were surprised. I mean, we had so many, and then we noticed that we have almost 30 alumni only in a small city like Stockholm in Scandinavia. So I think we have people in the US who have taken companies public, like Zoom Car. We had somebody from the board who had come for the orientation. We have people, as I said, in Singapore, who is heading the whole South Asia for H&M. We have senior directors in a lot of tech companies. In fact, recently, one of the managing directors at Accenture is an alumni from our early batches. Large-scale startups like Zoho and others have senior employees who are now from Great Lakes. So our alumni is our strength, and we urge our PGPM students to constantly interface. For this, we ensure that we bring alumni back to campus. In the most recent edition of our PGPM program, we actually have very senior alumni even partake, that is, do part of a course, because they can bring the contemporary knowledge to the class along with a faculty member, which is a very interesting innovation we tried, and it has worked very well for us.
So we can say takeaway from this is network leads to net worth.
Absolutely, and we believe in it.
Sir, I personally want to know any of the success story that you wish to share with us.
Yeah, I mean, I think as program director and also as a faculty member, I think one of the things that brings maximum joy is when our students do well, especially when there is huge transformation.
Right.
So, I mean, several cases. So we've had students who come from very rural backgrounds, whose communication capability is very limited, but are very intelligent otherwise. So where we have been able to coach them by spending more time with them, mentoring time with them, and through that these people have turned themselves into strong entrepreneurs, some corporate leaders. So for example, there is a boy who had come from a small region in Maharashtra, where they were doing a small family business. He was in the regular program, and then when he came here, he wanted to do something, go to corporate. But after talking, I realized that his heart was in the family business. He wanted to do something. So we were able to help him, and he went back. Today, the business is doing really well. So he's very proud about it. In fact, a couple of them have come and even hired from our PGDM program and all that.
That's
So
great.
it's very interesting to see where they come as a student, they transform, and then they come back and then, kind of hire from the campus. We've had people who've come in as very quiet students studying, wanting careers, and then suddenly go to Shark Tank, take companies to New York Stock Exchange and list them, head, huge companies like H&M. These are people who came in with modest aspirations. They started in IT and then wanted to make a shift. And in about 10 years, the transformation that students get is phenomenal. And therefore, this is something that we pride, and as I said, create great joy when we see these transformations happen.
So it makes it very obvious that PGPM program will be way too hectic for the students.
Yeah.
And obviously they have to be mentally prepared, they have to be academically prepared, professionally prepared. So what are the tips that you wish to give, or how our college is helping those students?
Yeah. Yes, I think you got it right. The PGPM program is an intensive 1-year program. So students know it when they come that they're going to be really, working the whole year. It is also a preparation. So one of the challenges we see is when you finish your work, especially since you have worked for 3-4 years, you're not in the habit of sitting in classes, doing assignments. You lost that practice.
Right.
So one of the things we do during orientation is we slowly build that routine into them. So first thing we do is really we do something very interesting in the orientation for PGPM. We do something like a kibbutz style orientation, where students get together, they're put in random groups, you get to know new people. They actually camp outside the whole night. They actually make food together. The mess is closed that night. There's no food. If they don't make it, we don't get food. Nobody gets food. So they make amazing food, and then they create entertainment for the rest of us the whole night. We all stay the night. I spend the night with them. Looking at the stars and all that, and through that we talk, we sing, we get to know each other. Everybody gets to know each other. So this happens, the bonding happens.
Right.
Second thing that is important is, they have to understand it's a collective game. It's not an individual game anymore when they come here. So we use that orientation to also give them sessions like technical sessions, team building sessions, how to work with each other, how can you leverage your groups and so on. The third thing that I think students also learn, the first term is generally the most difficult because it's a settling time. So they find it very difficult when they come in. But by the time they come to term 2, they're quite okay because they got used to the routine. So some of the things we do is we do a lot of tutorials, orientation during the orientation. We have mentoring, which is very often in the initial days. And then we also do a lot of group activities so that it reduces the stress on the students and they get ready for this thing. But the program is intense. Every 6-7 weeks, you're moving from one term to the other. You're finishing off subjects, exams, and by then you're getting ready for job interviews. And so there's a lot happening on the campus. So yes, we allow them or get them. We give them a kind of cushioning factor, but they have to be ready for some.
So, sir, I would ask, what is the biggest time management mistake the students make here?
Yeah, I think being in the program, PGPM program, one thing that they learn is procrastination is a complete no-no. Because the moment you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you have no idea what's coming tomorrow. So the trouble is it becomes 2 days work in one day. And then if you push it by 2 days, you have 3 days work in one day. So after a while, students quickly realize that today means today. Let's get it done.
Yeah, right.
So I think the big learning, and a lot of students have told me this, that thanks to the PGPM program, I've become much better at managing my time and my work
today.
So
there's no tomorrow.
There's no tomorrow for PGPM students. They have to do it today.
So, sir, these days, mental health is becoming a very serious talk in B schools, and I would say not even at B schools, at very basic level, which are our schools. We have counselor, we have psychologists in the school itself. So when the level of school is having such,
Stress.
stress, so how are we managing? Because again, PGPM is 1 year and again very hectic.
Yeah.
So how are we handling students here?
Very, very important question in today's world, because it's not just when you are here at PGPM, it is also how you will manage the stress when you finish PGPM and get to the corporate world.
Right.
And I think we are really, really preparing you for this. So, few things that we have done at Great Lakes. As an institute, we are very, very sensitive to our students. So, which is one of the reasons why we started the student mentorship program. So every student has to meet the faculty once in 15 days. The reason is to have a casual chat, not about course, marks, or something. It is just generally to understand, hey, what are you doing? Are you meeting enough people? Are you too cut off? We just want to know early. So that's number one. Second, as an institution support, we have constant yoga programs and support programs. We keep doing activities so students get involved. We also have anonymized health support services, so people can call the service, and they, without anybody knowing, you can have an independent, confidential talk, and if needed, any extra help is also provided. We have doctors on campus, we have tie-ups with hospitals nearby. Everything is set for life on campus, and so far we've been very good with this. As an institute, all our students are healthy, they graduate, they continue to work. The bigger stress is when they get to the corporate world, and I think that is for which we have now started focusing a lot. We spend a lot of time, we keep the program tight. The reason is we help students learn how to manage a lot of work in a short time, because when you go to the corporate world, you're going to have this competition with so many people from so many institutes. So we want our students to be good at time management, good at working in groups, because these are the sources of stress. Like, you're not able to get along with your manager, not able to get along with team members. So we teach you how to manage that by working. You have to lead clubs, you have to lead groups of people. We have something called the Karma Yoga program, where we groups of students go to villages nearby, and there it's a student led initiative. So which means there's language barrier, there you're dealing with sustainability problems. So there is stress without our own knowledge. So as they cope up with this, talking to their mentors, they develop this leadership ability, the ability to manage stress and balance. And third, we have a beautiful LEED platinum rated green campus. We encourage our students to walk on the campus, jog on the campus, breathe good air, and be healthy, because we always tell them it's to be balanced with good academics. So we do a whole bunch of things, because holistic development is very important, and that is the way to reach to a well-meaning life.
Right. So sir, my final question is only and only related to placements. Now, for example, a student, I would say student because obviously they'll be coming for PGPM, but a person who is already doing a job of 6 LPA. Now he has to leave his job, he has to, pay a good amount for his masters, and now he is coming only with a hope. Again, it's a very big question to himself, should I do it or not? So what kind of jumps a person can expect?
Fantastic. I mean, I know philosophically, placement is not the only thing in an MBA. You come here to study, you come here to learn, but then it matters. And therefore, the first thing I will say is, when it comes to PGPM, the advantage is you don't take 2 years, you take only 1 year. So which means you're back at work within 12 months. That's the first thing. So it saves you a year of effort compared to other traditional MBA programs, which are typically 2 years. PGPM gives you an edge, and that is what prompted our founder, Dr. Bala, to start this. He always used to talk about this. He used to say, you come here, pack yourself, learn intensely, and get back to industry fast, because you should be earning, right? So you learn and then earn. That was his philosophy. Get back fast. So that's the first thing that we do. Second is, when people come with 6, 7, 8 LPA, what we have noticed, on an average, our average salary figures are out there. We are about 18 odd lakhs as an average package. But what we have noticed is, if students can properly package themselves, prepare themselves when they are here, learn the right skills and present themselves well, they can easily get anywhere between 2 to 5 times jump. Some at the lower end, I'm talking about 2 to 2.5 times. At the upper end, it can go up to 6, 7 times. So we've seen people, really see big jumps. But on an average, we see about 2.5, 3 times jump is very easily possible. Even if they come with top end packages of 9 lakhs or something, it's still 2.5 times very easily possible, and even more sometimes. So We also consciously track it because it's an important metric, because all our students come with work experience. You don't have anybody without less than 2 years of work experience. So for us, it's an important metric. And so your question is very valid, and we as a school are very interested in this. One thing that we have strengthened as a part of this is we are one of the few schools in the country which has a complete department of staff members working full time for placements. It is not a student-run activity like many other schools.
Right.
So here, a large team of people spread across India actually are sourcing companies to come to campus, and therefore we want to create the best opportunity possible for our students. So I always tell PGPM students, learn about the school. The legacy of the school is important. The alumni network is important. If all that is there, come confidently, put your entire effort, and reap the best gains and go back.
So basically, you are not taking a risk. You are adding something great in your profile.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So sir, we try to cover all the different segments for PGPM program. And now I want to know something beyond the director desk.
Okay.
And we will be doing it through rapid fire.
Yeah, sure.
So you just have to say it in a word, and we can explain in case if it is required. But first word which comes to your mind. Yeah.
Okay.
So sir, my first question is, if you want to explain the Monday morning vibes, how will you do that?
Aspiration. That's it. Personally, as a faculty, as program director, when I walk in on Monday morning, I want students bubbling and running to class. That shows energy, and energy is the single indicator of everything in life. So I want my 25-year-olds to run, jog, enjoy, smile, and get to class. So that's how Monday mornings are on this campus, and I'm happy. That's from where I draw my energy to.
So next question is, obviously, because the program is very hectic, the students have to wake up whole night also sometimes. So what is the midnight oil?
Yeah, so we've ensured that there's enough fuel on campus, right? So there's fuel refilling stations everywhere. So you have pizzas, you have Maggie, the age-old school Maggie, and then you have sandwiches, you have fries, because the generation has changed, I see. When we were young, we used to use Maggie as our midnight snack,
Exactly,
but today we notice a lot of fries and other stuff. So we have stations throughout the campus. In fact, many times I've heard visitors say that the busiest time in campus is actually past 12 o'clock. And the way I realized that was when we did our Paisa Vasool event for the year. I asked my students, when do you want to have the final distribution ceremony? And they said 12 o'clock at night. So that says a lot.
So sir, what is the interview red flag? Which means, the person sitting in front of you is saying only because you want to hear that. And you understand that.
My favorite is when a person says, I take on too much responsibility because I have too much ownership. I start laughing because, it's like, everyone says this. What I want to know is, please in the interviews, use specific examples of what you've done in your life. Don't make these abstract statements which you have, by hearted. Just simply say the truth, because when you speak from your heart, I think the panelist really sees through.
The person understands, right?
So I think it's important. Yeah.
So sir, next is, what is the hidden gem in Great Lakes Chennai? As in, if a person is not feeling fine, the day was not good, is there a spot where, that person can go sit and find that peace and quiet place?
This beautiful campus has many spots. For me personally, it's the Buddha statue, especially early mornings. I come there, I sit quietly, he's sitting quietly. I also sit quietly next to him for some time and I make my day.
Yeah,
and I've seen many students do that.
Even we felt the same way.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
So what will be your advice for the burnout? For example, a student he's very overwhelmed with the curriculum, the pressure he's getting, except for study harder.
My standard advice is go take a walk, because it's a beautiful campus. So in fact, you will notice sometimes when you come, I am actually walking with the student and talking instead of sitting in my office. It makes a huge difference because they talk their heart out, they want help. So for me, the personal thing is just take a walk, because it opens up your mind and it relaxes. So that's my standard advice.
So in today's video, we tried to address all the queries for PGPM program 2.0 at Great Lakes Chennai. In any case, if you are still left with any question, either you can go directly on the official website of Great Lakes Chennai, or you can contact us on the given number.